Ideology and ideal truth between willing 거부하다. We move back and forth endlessly, or talk of an end to the movement that is an end of history, whether a Heligan or a Mexican lines is pure speculation, impression of a man. Psychological approach, psychology and art. Fred's fundamental attachments on art set forth from the proposition that the artist is an introvert, demands on practical reality, who turns for gratification of his wishes. He achieves the conversion of his spiritual by what Fred calls a power of sublimation. Mental disorder become miracle. Unlike the neurotypical or the insane, the artist finds a way back to reality that is retains a certain playability which allows him to vary his distance from and maintain contact above all with a way of redemption. The artist creates a great world of fulfillment. Participants find employment from this trick simply because most people suffer to some extent from the same kind of flotation from which he was sought, produced only merger on substantial and incommunicable daydreams with his sense of defeat and his losing contact with reality. Vicariously participates in the fulfillment, realized in his honor, power, fame, and the love of become enjoyable for us, and unlike ordinary day dreamers and discuss, the fact is fantasies have originated. Fred's most important addition to this statement is nothing but an incitement, premium, abate or prepares the way for the achievement of the real aim of art and the true enjoyment of provides significance as well as in intensity. Do with disinterested defense or an evasive device in bursting with reality. Fred's theory reveals many new aspects of art and previously unnoticed usefulness of this concept in the interpretation of artist creative idea sublimation seen emphasized direct by objectively aimed to an indirect process of artist creation or biology. Art is being deflected. That is about the power that diverts the biological diversion is performed. It is not enough.
가이 씨발 새끼야.
Instinctual impulses we ought to know more about the preconditions, the reasons why certain impulses are sublimated. others repressed, and others satisfied directly. Himself, cultural heritage, difference between the sadism results in expressionism and that which finds satisfaction in killing foundation of a proclivity with a range wide transcription of impulses undiscovered. A work at art is not simply the product of a transference of power. Civilization may be factor in artistic creativity. The work of art has many other preconditions and prerequisites, a problem which can never be completely reduced to a desire for love on the part of the artist. Sublimated for the gratifications of such a desire in fantasy became far more essential. Art and rest of his doctrine features in common with the neurotic symptom which each represents a compromise in which the pleasure principle victory of the ego in alliance with the idea over the superego formation and sublimation, the occurrence of a reaction formation presuppose repression. What is repressed is symbolized. Only what is repressed needs to symbolize. Only what is not repressed can be sublimated. Only what is not repressed. Conflict between instinctual drives and moral censorship, indirect expression, and a robust way out gratification. However similar, the dynamic function of sublimation and of civilization. Sublimation means a mere transference, likely criticism in which the interpretation of a symbol plays such an important part of its own analytical view. The mind is a symbol producing agent, and dreams expressed technical devices of a dream work applied to the creation of symbolic forms in general, and that over determination dreams in fact an overdetermined image in its hostility. A symbol is a form of indirect representation that does characterization of an object which fits into different contexts, into a train of thought. Then again, it fits into the context of different individual symbol or symbolic meaning can hardly spring from a single layer overdetermined and have roots of its neither the artist mystification of artistic creativity skill. The mind contains the elements of artistic symbols may spring from sources of which a man and temporary unconscious. They are not product of the unconscious. A more primate development of the
개새끼가 진짜.
human mind than abstract, rational, discursive thought. Primitive man, however, as he know, is just as rational as civilized, in fact still dependent on libidinous romantic There is no doubt in every kind of artist symbolism, winding and all those either to conceal and not also to elucidate and to reveal. Conformity with moral code relationships so manifold, so complex that much mental functioning is to be explained. Readers of the work of art, the minister, on the other hand, in a propensity to regard the work of as no more than a kind of puzzle whose meaning can never be comprehended directly, on the other in a habit of regarding symbols as if abstract, rigid, conventional signs with an explanation that may be looked up. Origin of artistic symbols, their emotional roots, but unfortunately it treats as at symbolic meaning, a theory of art which applies only to an indirect expression of repressed. To study works of other, a sexual expression symbolized canonical invitation. It was a rewarding job which could nearly all human relationships might be connected with the Oedipus situation that art swam with mother images, infantile, erotic experience and fixation are among sexual symbolism. The ubiquity of Oedipus complex, the innumerable variations, the emotional patterns one becomes increasingly conscious. One eventually realized that the female genitals, that the column or the sculptural representation of the erect human body was originally symbol of the womb. There is, of course, no more definite evidence against than in favor of correction of these assertions. If anything to do with the artistic effect or merit of representative work for art, Shakespeare play never served to anyone's complete satisfaction. Consists Hamlet cannot kill a murderer for committing a crime that explain one of the most puzzling features of the simple, namely the awkward and unconventional atmosphere of the scenes between them. The lyrical mood of the whole drama is result of economical approach, which they find themselves the vigor and beauty of the language they speak, the essence or the real source of the work. Thing of the kind is not explanation of its power, then what is? The psychological interpretation of our Hamlet, a work was intended by the artist or even consciously present to his mind during the process of creation. Spiritual attitude is no doubt justified in its approach to art, that is say, in minimizing audience who enjoy and appreciate the work is indispensable for its
그 민심은 그런 데서 움직인단 말이야.
extent as far an effect that proves to have been intelligent respond to to the meaning that was consciously predominant with the subject of the play, we may realize that there is no greater chance of our hitting upon the implications our interpretation of a work produced in what past is necessarily involved revert from an allegedly aware of a meaning of which the author himself might not have been aware. Cervantes and his done tragedy is understood stable and was less in its interpreting his own creation. If, however, a critic maintains that the Oedipus that is not the play's most relevant meaning, and indeed psychologically interpretation, some of them are simply point of view attribute selection, expression of contemporaries, that is to say, is however a continuous interaction between direct experience psychoanalytical explanation of art itself, relevant the qualities to works of art which are as well as in no point of view. Romanticism and the loose reality critics who find fault with the psychoanalytical theory of art are usually most troubled. Recognize, of course, the narrative feeders in the artist's crucial fact in the whole complex alienates himself from actually and which draws into the unreal sphere of his illness, being tricked out of life, the concept of art as a compensation himself expressed it. Happy people never their fantasies only unsatisfied ones. The artist is a very individual who is in disagreement, expressions, experience. They are, as Virginia Woolf says, worthless terms with the routine of common life as he loses his sense of practical necessity and creates unimaginable. 네, 여기까지 하겠습니다.